Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. It's really encouraging to see so many faces here. First off, I'd like to record the meeting so I can bring it to the attention to counsellors and the clinical commissioning groups to influence them to have a surgery here, not only here, but more surgeries across Redbridge. I hope that's okay with everyone.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I suppose there's the academic reason for why I'm here this evening, which is there isn't enough, the logic behind it is, the evidence behind it is there's not enough GP surgeries in this area. So as a consequence, it means, hello, Tara. It means that people are going to King George and Queen's Hospital when they can't get a GP appointment. The consequence of that is that the A&E departments get clogged up. It makes the treatment slower than it should be. Now, when I talk about the academic evidence, I'm just going to quote something to you, what that actually means. So this is a quote from the NHS website. We know that speed of treatment is vital in many conditions. Actually, we better get some more chairs, haven't we? Well, it's great to have so many people here. Come have a seat, sir. Yes, so I was saying there's academic evidence that long waits in A&E adversely affect patient outcomes. I was just reading from something from the NHS website. We know that speed of treatment is vital in many conditions. For example, people with the most severe form of pneumonia have less than a 1 in 2 chance of surviving. Those chances improve considerably if effective treatment is started early. However, research suggests that delays of more than 4 hours in administration of antibiotics to patients coming into hospital with pneumonia can affect 70% of patients on days when an A&E is crowded. This undoubtedly affects mortality. So what they're saying, if A&Es are too busy, because people can't get GP appointments, it increases mortality rates, increases death rates. I haven't got one, so let me give you one. If no one else has got one of these, I'll hand them out. This is an extract from the most recent Barking-Haven Redbridge University Trust board papers. They published the mortality rates, the death rates. So we've got some death rates here. You'll see pneumonias listed, 382 expected deaths, and the actual deaths, the observed deaths, are 437. So that's a cause of concern. As the research suggests, if you've got a busy A&E that's struggling to cope, you're going to get higher death rates than you should do. Now, the state of our A&Es is we're the second worst for May 2016. Barts is the worst, and Barking-Haven in Redbridge, that's King George and Queen's, is the worst. It's at 4,499 4-hour breaches, so people have gone over the time, over the 4 hours to be seen. Evening.
Hi.
Let me just give you something. I was just talking about the impact of waiting a long time at A&E. It's associated with higher death rates and people taking longer to get better. So we've got King George and Queen's as amongst some of the worst in the country. There's 2 reasons for that. There's not also the shortage of GPs. Evening, sir. Let me give you something. We're just talking about the impact of not enough GPs in the area. What it means, not enough GPs, not enough hospital doctors, it clogs up our A&E department, and as you can see, it means higher death rates. I'm sure if GPJuly management here, they'd dispute that, say, oh no. And it is a correlation. We can't do an experiment. We can't be absolutely certain it's cause and effect. But I'm really concerned that it is behind some of these early deaths that we've got here. So yes, the Health Service Journal has found out that King George and Queen's are amongst the worst in the country. And there's 2 reasons. There isn't enough hospital doctors. They've been closing beds as well, unfortunately, last year. And not enough GPs. So that's the academic side of the evidence for cause for concern. On a personal note, I'm concerned about Queen's starting to withdraw treatment for a 2-week trial. It's sending people away for 2 weeks. It's going to finish shortly. And it's unclear to me as to why or what type of patients they're sending away to GPs for treatment. I've been asking questions. I haven't got any answers yet. I'll keep asking questions. My son, who's 24, has had epilepsy for 8 years. Once he managed to forget his prescription. He couldn't get a GP appointment, so he goes to A&E. They gave him a prescription. He goes and gets the drugs. Why that's important is if someone has a fit, there's a slight chance, a very slight chance, but still a real chance that the fit will kill them. So it's not immediately life-threatening, but if you send someone away the next day to get the drugs, it could be too late. So that's why I'm grumpy about this trial. That's the personal reason why I'm concerned. And also my mother-in-law, she had constant urine infections. She couldn't get a GP, so she turned up at hospital. They never turned her away, and I'd like to think, I'd be amazed actually if Queen's is turning away for our elderly people. But I want to know exactly what's going on in this hospital.
So why are they sending the people that they're turning away?
They're not clarifying. I've asked some questions. I'm going to the clinical commissioning group this Thursday to ask more questions, to find out exactly what's going on. But what I'd like to do now is to open it up to the floor. Other people's experiences of GPs, of the hospitals, and then I'll feed that back to the councillors and the clinical commissioning groups, and perhaps take a photo and for the Ilford recorder and let people know why we need a GP surgeon. I'll come back with some ideas about how we can drive the campaign forward.
Right.
Yes.
I've done my starting off.
Right.
It's my mum, this is my aunt. So
Right.
I've got, had to change her doctor, obviously, to the one in Chadwell Heath.
Right.
You cannot get through on the phone.
Right.
You just cannot get
Right.
through.
Right.
You can't get through. You can
Right.
45 minutes.
Right.
And then it goes dead.
Yeah, mine's Perriman's Farm,
Right.
and I've had the same experience because
Right.
I'm constantly ringing lunchtime
Right.
I've tried
when you're
Right.
supposed to
all
call.
Do come in, sir.
Yeah,
I've tried
you
all
just
different
can't get
times
an
of the
appointment.
day, and
Right.
I cannot get through.
Yes, I think
Right.
that's the main issue. You
Right.
can't actually get through to get an appointment.
Right. So we've had two people saying they just can't get appointments to their local surgeries. Yes. Yes.
Well,
Ma'am.
I've got one, if you up in
Oh, can we just have this lady here first, please? Yeah.
If you have to go to a parent's farm or something,
Yes.
it's very difficult if you're
Yeah.
to get there.
Yeah,
And
can
also,
you just bear with me? Let's just get some chairs sorted so we've got some people.
Nobody, you just carry on.
No, let's just
There we go.
There's a chair here as well. Sorry, madam, you're saying yes.
and also, on the buses, if you have to go to the surgery, you go to
Right.
you have to get 2 buses.
Right, I'm a bit deaf. Would you mind saying that again, please? Sorry.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
If you want to go to the Queen's,
Yeah.
like you're saying some
Yeah.
people do,
Yeah.
to go from here on the Eastern Avenue,
Yeah.
you have to get the bus that goes to the
Yes.
thing and another bus that goes to the hospital.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's not easy.
Yes. I'm
And also
yes.
parking in a car
Yeah.
isn't easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it costs
Yeah.
you money.
Yeah.
Yes, well, not if you've got disabled, you can get a disabled bike. but,
Right. So, a lady at the back, you wanted to share something.
I'm new in this area. I moved in the 4th of September last year.
Right.
But I had a lot of trouble up at King George Hospital,
Right.
up in Newbury Park.
Right.
But then I wanted the doctor for that the people beyond the county in there, they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
You know, and I got heart trouble, I got kidney trouble, I got rheumatism all over my body,
Right.
no feeling in my feet, I got area.
Right.
So I had a terrible day.
Right.
And my language, was very good. I said, I bring my 6 months out to great grandson, and if I do better job, and you lot in there. Or this must send you to retrain.
Right. Well, I'm sorry that you had a bad experience.
I said, no, you never saw nothing yet.
Oh dear. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I have to say, most people have a positive experience of the hospital, but
You know,
it's
but now,
sorry,
I got
yeah.
good off.
Yeah.
But it's the people beyond the counter who know you can't have this medicine, no.
Right.
I take for 20 years when I live in Akane. Also, you to tell me,
Right.
oh no, you can't have a that or the other. I said, no, I want to see a doctor. You don't tell me what I can take
Right.
or not.
Right.
So
Okay.
it was the people after the job in there,
Right.
they make their own rule, and then they know some of them what they're doing.
Okay. Is it someone else? Yes, madam.
Went through one cut, was down here.
Yes.
Then transferred to King George's.
Yes.
And I saw 2 doctors at 2 different times. I suffered with my hip, and I got cracked hip. And they both sent away to get an appointment to see an orthopaedic doctor.
Yes.
Never heard anything.
Oh dear.
When I went down to Chadwell Heath,
Yeah.
cut a long story short, 2 doctors had sent away again
Yeah.
on a fax,
Yeah.
and I still haven't heard, and that goes back from last September.
Right. Perhaps you could come and see me at the end. I can pass that on to BA. That's unusual. They're usually efficient. So do come and see me at the end, and I'll send an email and take your details. Can you do that? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, what I find ironic is that the surgeries can get in touch with you at the tip of a finger.
Yeah.
But you try to get in touch with them in case of emergency or whatever, just to make a mere appointment. It's impossible.
Right.
You have to go to the surgery,
Right.
which is not convenient as it used to be when we had a surgery
Yes.
just on our doorstep.
Yes.
You got to go to the surgery
Yes.
to make an appointment, and that appointment might be 4 or 5 days later.
Right.
What they're actually saying, if you find yourself with an urgent condition,
Yeah.
you've got to rush yourself off to the hospital,
Right.
right? You get to the hospital and you can spend up to 8 hours.
Wow.
Yes, you can spend
A
up
long
to 8
way.
hours
Long way.
trying to see,
Right.
to get your problem sorted
Right.
out. But I just find this, totally unacceptable. I'm trying to come to terms with it. I just
That's.
find
Yeah.
it
I mean,
difficult to
8
understand.
hours. I hadn't heard of 8
I thought your
hours.
surgery was your first port of call. You make an appointment, or you
Right.
go down there if you can, but you can't just turn up.
Right.
You've got to make an appointment.
Right. Well, anyone else like to share? Yes.
I did have another thing. When
Yes.
I went to the hospital for blood tests, so the GP surgery gets the results,
Yeah.
and they just sent me a message saying fine. So I rang them up saying, well, what do you mean fine? What does that mean? I want the results.
Yeah.
Can you just email them to me or post them?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, we're not allowed to do that. You have to come and collect them. And things like that. When
Yes.
you're working and
Yes.
you finish work at
Yes.
6, I could get
Yes.
up at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
We ain't got time to go there. And then they
Yes.
say, then I went there, and then they said, I'll charge you for that. It's 60p for the printout. Like little things like that. You just think,
Yeah. You would think they'd just email you the
you know,
result, wouldn't
exactly.
you?
I said, and I did say to
Well,
them,
no.
email me and I'll
Yeah.
pay you over the phone with my card.
Yeah.
But you know,
And having to pay for stuff as well.
Yeah.
I'm puzzled at that
that's
as well.
payments from.
Just one other thing I
Yeah.
experienced, but I don't know if anyone experienced it. But what the surgeons are doing, they're actually trying to do telephone consultation.
Right.
Now, if you've got a problem
Right.
and you go and sit down with a GP, you put questions to him, he gives you answers and you can relate. But over the telephone, it's not always convenient to put everything forward.
Yeah. It does
So
sound
probably the most important
second-rate
thing was
consultation.
you miss out. I just
Yeah.
find this
Yeah, stuff on the phone's obviously,
unacceptable.
stuff on the phone's obviously not as good. And anyone else like to share
My
something?
daughter, she's
Yeah.
developed a serious illness.
I'm sorry,
and wasn't getting anywhere with the National Health,
Right.
so she has been going to private
Oh, no.
paying at Queen's Carley, which
Right.
is the private section upstairs
Wow.
at Queen's. Anyway, there's loads of papers from Queen's that should be now, because we had to change in April to the Newbury Centre,
Yeah.
and they reckon, the doctor there reckons they've never seen these papers that
Right.
have all been
Right.
faxed over and all the rest of it.
Right.
But when my daughter phoned up to see the doctor, she was told, no, there's no appointment. You get down here next Tuesday or something. This was about a week. And at 8:30 in the morning, and we'll be releasing the appointments for August the 12th
Wow.
or something,
Wow.
3 weeks away. So you've got to get down at 8:30 in the morning if you're lucky in the queue, how many they're dishing out.
I didn't know that was how they...
Yeah,
I can ask questions about
that.
Yeah, yes, Tara, yes.
I'm just leading on from, because two people here have said something that's happened to my friend recently as well, and it's to do with faxing referrals from hospitals to GPs, and GPs saying they haven't received anything.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So that's worrying now, because my friend was in hospital recently for many different health reasons, and they found a lump in her head. The scanner was broken, the MRI scanner, so they kept her in longer than she wanted to, hoping they'd fix it. They never did, so they said, okay, you can go home, but we'll make sure we get an emergency appointment for you to get that scan done at Queen's.
Right.
Said he faxed the doctor said he faxed the GP. GP, when she chased it up, when not hearing after a week, never received it. He said he faxed it to a different doctor, went to the wrong place, and he'll re-fax it to this doctor, which is Newbury Park. No, never got it.
Right.
It's all a bit, it doesn't sound, but it sounds all, well, you don't want to say, but it sounds like it's intentional, because it's
Well, you think it'd be
it's
done by
stopping
email?
people waiting, it's stopping people being on lists, isn't it? It's getting rid of patients needing that treatment until they chase it up.
Yes, I'm interested in... I will follow up that point up. It does sound as though it should be emails rather than faxes, but I'm interested in people's experience of new practices, because you can't get a practice here. Is it the general... people suffering to get appointments at their practices here?
I know we were at Spear Point down there, then we were moved to the hospital, and then we were given a letter in December saying you need to find a new surgery. And when you looked at most of them, they were in Chapel Heath, or they were in Barkingside, which is where I used to live. Well, I didn't even go that far down the list they gave us. So I booked for me and my son. You couldn't just automatically go, you had to go for an interview, first of all, which was, because both me and my son worked, it was really hard. I mean, the good thing, because I'm at Palms, is they're open till 6:30. That's one thing I used to find at Spear Point, because they used to shut at 5:30, and when you used to go through King George's, the doors would be locked.
Wow.
And if no one was on the desk, you couldn't get in.
Oh no.
Which was really frustrating, because you're standing banging on the door and you're waiting for someone to open. But when I actually went to register, they, because my son was taken ill just before, they gave us, we went for the interview, then we had a 2-week gap, so I didn't know if we were still at Spear Point or we'd been accepted by the other one, because no one had actually said, yes you are. My son was had to go, well he ended up going up the hospital, and he said, what surgery are you with? And he said, I was obviously with Spear Point. They rang up Spear Point and said, oh, he hasn't been here for more than 3 years, so we've taken him off our books.
Wow.
And no one told us, and apparently this is standard procedure.
So they take you off the books after 3 years?
After 3 years, they take you off the books. So it's like,
Good job for 3 years.
that's right. He's in his, well, he's just coming up, he's in his 20s, his young 20s, but that doesn't mean that if he did have a condition, where's his notes?
Well, yes, younger people, of course, they might be years before they go.
But it was just a case of like, okay, well, where do we go? And when he went up the A&E, they went, well, you're not registered here. So where are you registered? He's always been registered at a dentist, but not a dentist, at a doctor's. But subsequently, he wasn't officially there, but no one had sent us a letter saying, you haven't been for 3 years, because if that's the case, I'd have made him gone, whether he was well or not, just to keep on the books. But they don't tell you this. And I think that's, if you were to develop a condition or something where you needed regular medication.
So, well, thank you. Is there any more comments, or we can move on to how we're going to drive the campaign forward?
There's only a little thing, Newbury Park group practice. They've got 4 numbers, the one down Fairmont Farm Road. 4 numbers, they can be engaged all at one time. That's all really, that's the main thing.
Oh,
it's a bit awkward.
And when you email them, they will say you need to call up or come in. And I'm emailing because I can't get food to you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Is it still possible to get an urgent appointment with a doctor quickly?
Is it just?
I'm hearing different stories. Some practices I'm being told you can, and other practices tell other patients are telling me no, you can't. It seems to be some are better than others.
So in that case, if you can't get an appointment, an emergency appointment with a doctor, what do you do? Go to A&E?
Yeah, that's what people do. That's causing problems.
Is the hub still? You know the hub, the out of hours hubs. There was 4 hubs in the butler that if it's out of hours, you can go.
Yes, sir.
What about 111?
Of course, people can dial. Yes,
If you
of course,
can't
people
get
can dial.
through,
Yeah.
you can speak to them and they're very helpful.
What I'd like to do now is to move on. Well, I'd like to. Can we have one meeting? Can we Tara, can we go one meeting? One meeting, please. Can we have one meeting? Can we have one meeting, please? I'd like to talk about. Let's talk about how we can drive the campaign forward. I'd love to tell you it's going to be easy and we're going to have a GP practice in this road quickly. I'll just show you, just want to tell you my experience of the hospital bed situation. They've been closing beds. I've been campaigning for the beds to be reopened. I took a petition in March, over 2,000 signatures. I wasn't given the time of day. I felt I was brushed aside to another committee, the health committee. So I thought, well, I will turn up. It was earlier this month. And I'm pleased to say, they didn't actually write and say, we want these beds reopened, we want the doctors and nurses to come back into the hospital. But the health committee said, we want a forecast, we want to find out if there is enough beds in the area. Now, it seems to be clear as day there isn't enough beds in the area, but at least it's a small step forward. So to win this campaign, I think we'll be looking at small steps rather than overnight. Yeah. So what I'm suggesting is Thursday, the full council meet, all 63 councillors. I've written to them and said the situation deserves an urgent statement by the member for health, is Councillor Santos. We've got Queens turning away people. We don't know exactly why they're turning away people, who they're turning away. And we've had the report in the Health Service Journal. We've got some of the worst A&Es in the country. So it would be good to have some guidance from our councillors as to how they hope to turn things around. I'm also going to the clinical commissioning group this Thursday. Now, on the piece of paper again, on the other side, there's some email addresses, there's some ideas as to how we can drive things forward. Now, my favourite idea, you might think it's a load of old rot, and you might have a better idea, but my idea is that if we haven't got enough school places, we see porta cabins. We make sure children are educated. It's a temporary thing until you've got a permanent school that's built. Now, it strikes me, we haven't got enough GPs. Why can't we put up porta cabins? Bring some GPs in. I know the hospitals, they go all over the world looking for nurses. It's not ideal. We should be paying doctors enough, our own doctors, so we don't have to trawl overseas. But we need doctors now. Why can't we go overseas, find some GPs, make things better quickly? Now, the obstacle to that is that the clinical commissioning group insists on a 5,000 limit, 5,000 patients. So I'm going to be suggesting to them on Thursday, well, why don't we reduce that? Why don't we have porta cabins? And I don't think they're going to say, yes, Andy, that's a great idea straight away. But it's plugging away at it. Keep on plugging away at it. I've hired a hall in November. I'll be leafleting, talking to people. It's before the full council meets. I'm hoping to organise a petition again saying we want the hospital beds open, but also getting people there to say, we need more GPs in the area. And not Mr. Councillor, what are you doing about it? We want some action now. People are suffering now. Things don't seem to be changing. In fact, they're getting worse. We want some action now. Because it's reasonable to ask for action now, because of course the population is rising, the tax take for the area is rising, so it's reasonable to ask for action now. More GPs now. So that's my favourite course of action at the minute, but I would really like to hear from the floor about ideas as how to drive the campaign forward. Anyone's got any ideas how we can get a surgery?
Hello?
But first of all, I get the impression that you are the only one that is driving this campaign to improve the hospitals, and also now you're taking up a fight for the surgery. What are the other MPs in the locality doing? You know,
well, I can assure you I'm not the only person. The three councillors here are fully on board with the campaign. Ron Jeffries, who I know some of you know, Ron's been driving the campaign. The report that we've got at the Health Scrutiny campaign, Ron Jeffries pushed for that. Unfortunately, if you look on the website, the report that's been produced isn't that encouraging. It talks about Seven Kings and other wards not having enough GPs rather than this ward. So perhaps when you go, you might see one of the points I'm raising with the clinical commissioning group is, why isn't this area, when you've got the Eastern Avenue and the underground, it's difficult to walk to a surgery, why isn't there a need for a surgery here? So yeah, the other people are on board, but the more people who are pushing, the better. So thank you to everyone for coming this evening.
Can I ask you,
yes.
If they do have a ported cabin, which I said I'm sure a lot of people went to the one in Holiday Inn when all this first happened. Did anyone go to the first meeting in Holiday Inn many years ago when they said Spearpoint was going to be shut? When Spearpoint was shutting, the council did a meeting at Holiday Inn. I don't know if anyone else went. I certainly did.
Yes.
Okay, and she was very proactive.
Right.
And it was like flocking of dead horse.
Oh, no.
Absolutely flocking it. And we actually had a decent MP then.
Right.
If there was porter cabins, where would you think it would be said?
Well, that's the other thing. You can write to Jazz Atwell, who's the leader of the council. We could ask, another thing is to ask the council to produce a report where there's suitable council land in the borough for GP surgeries. It's just another small thing to put pressure on. It's just a lot of serious small ideas to put pressure on. Sorry?
Anywhere there's space, they're building housing.
Yes, well, exactly. It's the imbalance.
Let's be honest.
The imbalance seems to be wrong. Another easy thing is for the council to publish each month how many GPs there are in the borough and what's the population. So if the population goes up and the number of GPs is staying static, it's evidence to say, well, hold up. Last month we had X, and now we've got X plus however many thousand. We need some more GPs. It's plain as day. Why aren't you giving us some more GPs? You've got to try and keep it simple.
Why can't you just say to me the suggestion I made to you when we were outside?
Yeah.
Basically, if there's nowhere for us to go to a doctor, everyone's just going to go to A&E.
I think that's happening, and that is the issue.
A&E, and that's going to cost them a hell of a lot.
Yeah. What I'd like to do now, if that's okay, is take a photo from the corner so we can try and get some publicity for the campaign in the recorder. So bear with me one moment.
I'm tired of this. Time on.
That's great, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that. So yeah, the ideas for driving the campaign forward. Anyone else like to speak?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You were saying about where you could put one of these cabins.
Yes.
What about down here before you get to the traffic lights?
Right.
Where the council property is.
Well, that did strike. That did strike me as.
Community centre.
It's opposite West Spearpoint.
But then Spearpoint, because I went up for a blood test today. Good to know. And the surgery is still there, but it's a well-being hub now. And I didn't even know.
Can we just have one meeting, please? Can we have just one meeting? Sorry, you're saying?
Doctors.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a nursery.
No, not down the road, at the hospital. The old surgery at King George's is now a well-being hub. And you think, well, no one told us this when we got the list of the doctor's surgeries where we had to go. So what is that? What is the well-being hub? Is that where we can go?
No.
And it was only literally, I've been today. I went for my blood test today, and I thought, well, what? Because I just thought, it would be shut down because it's right opposite the blood clinic anyway. And it's got well-being hub or something there, and I just thought, well, what's that?
So they've just replaced it, so obviously the GP
Yeah,
should
but there's lots of places we can go that we're not aware of. I've worked for Health Watch at Bridge, and they were recently commissioned, that's another avenue we can look at. They were recently commissioned, I think it was by the CCG, to actually ask people what services are they aware of that they're available in the borough, and what do those services offer. And I was part of the volunteers that went out to these different locations, asking people who are using them, how do you know about this? Do you know what you can come here for? And how often have you used it? Now, I can go back to Health Watch if you want and find out the results of that, and if it's published and if it's available, because that would be interesting. Because I mentioned earlier about that I used a hub, which was a pilot for the out of hours service. There was 4 hubs in the borough. But you're not told what the telephone number is. I saw it by chance as I left for Newbury Group Practice on the wall, and it says if you can't get an emergency appointment and you need one, ring this number after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I got straight through. I'd made an appointment at a time slot in that evening and went with my son there and then. Now, if everyone knew about that, I said, now I know that, I'm not going to bother trying to get through. I'm just going to use that. But I'm sure it was just a pilot, and I'm not aware that it's still, but I can find that out again. So I'm not Newbury Park, so I can. But there's lots of information that's not being circulated.
There's some sort of strange clinic of 1,000, I think it's called, in George, but if you've got 5 symptoms or more.
Yeah.
You relate to the same condition or different conditions. You're not allowed to go with more than one problem, are you?
I'd like to draw the meeting to a close shortly, but I don't want to finish it unless someone's had their say. Now, has anyone not had their say who wants to say something? I'm talking to you, young lady. I say we're talking about something at the moment. So I'll be reporting back via my website. I'll put out a leaflet. I'll keep people informed. If you have got time to help with the campaign, if you could come and see me and give me your name, address and contact details at the end, for those who have got the time, who don't mind sitting in meetings where nothing very much happens and you've got to switch on and say something to try and get something done, that would be great. Or if you want to come to a lobby, you want to ask a question at council, if you just want to talk to me a bit more, do come and see me. But I think you all deserve a round of applause for coming this evening. It's a lovely evening. Come inside this hall, so thank you very much.
Sorry, it was 5 conditions.
Yeah, to come and talk to us.
No, can I just thank you?
All right, okay. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you.
Could you give me my email address? Could you email me and let me know?
I thought we had to sign a petition today.
They said only people who live in Aldborough, people who live in Aldborough, they go to Queens because it's such a large hospital. I mean, someone I know, he was ICT, he broke every bone in his body. When he went back for an appointment, they said, we've got no record of you. He went, I was in there for a month. So how can you have no record? And that's quite frightening when it's the hospital. How many bones have you got to take before?
Sorry.
go to the one.
Turn
Yeah, see you later, Rich. All the best, wouldn't you? Don't cheer for people.
I can't lift them, I'm not allowed to lift them.
You might
And they still can't match it. Not yet.
I read
find out that there are services going on that you're not aware of, and how long they're going on for, and if people aren't aware and they said it wasn't a large turn up so we don't need them, when we were all aware and we're using them.
She goes to memory clinic. We went once and they just said no, we can't.